Willingly, if you want to grow and you want to be around those people and increase your network, be willing to give. Add value to the group. Come with energy. You got to come with energy. You got to add value. And you got to put that work in. Now you ready? Drum roll, please. Reinvest. The mortgage note guy. He does properties all over the world. Kevin McGraw. Hey, can he get a camera? Oh, there he is. Okay. There he is. Look, big sexy. Yeah, we got my man Kevin.
So close.
Kevin, quite frankly, you talking about, I shared about being around 5 people, your network. The McGraw right here and his buddy Moeller, which was a partner, man, they're a large reason for one of my successes. We knew each other from a distance. Just like, man, I got a deal for you. And I started talking to people, they was like, don't mess with them. They're gonna stick you good. And I was like, shit, I don't know what y'all talking about. They sound real good at what they share. And he was the first guys I got with that were just straight up like, man, I know you like this, but this is why you shouldn't buy it. Here's a deal you should buy, or if you don't, I don't care because I'm selling to somebody. Hey, before we get deep into this, man, so tell people who you are, where you from, like, how'd you get started in real estate, man?
I grew up in the Cleveland area. I moved down here.
You ain't grew up in no Cleveland area, man. Tell them where you from, man.
I'm from the area. It's the area. A little town called Vermilion, Ohio. It's, but I claim Cleveland.
There you go, baby.
Right. People don't know Vermilion. But,
they are. Vermilion, yeah, you probably should have said Cleveland.
Right. So, I came down to go to UC, graduated, stayed here, and started in the mortgage business. I had actually met my partner we lived in the dorms together at UC, and kind of stayed in touch. And I was sending my resume out when I was graduating, and he was already working in a mortgage as a mortgage broker, and he picked up my my resume off the fax machine. He's like, "Oh, yeah, I'm gonna give this to the boss. I know this guy. Let's see if we can hire him." So he got me in there, and then I did mortgages for a little while. And when the rates were going up back in the early 2000s, we realized it was pretty hard to make money as a broker at that point. So we started.
What were the rates at?
8%.
Yeah, I remember that.
Wow.
You remember 8%? Like, oh my gosh, 8% is high.
Yeah, well,
and that's hard money now. 8 and 10%.
Yeah, right. Yeah. I have a hard money loan right now. That's less than that. And so we did that for a minute, like I said, and then we got into buying properties that we could get no money down. Mm-hmm. They're old Carlton sheets. You have that? I had that.
Yeah, who didn't?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man, there's a lot of good information in Carlton sheets.
Yeah, the only thing Carlton sheets, man, what they didn't, well, he told you got to be disciplined, but he was the king of over leveraging the property.
And that's what we did. And for like the first year, we were buying everything that we could get with no money down, and I'm trying to think if I still have any of that stuff.
I mean, that was
it's impossible to get out of this stuff, and forever.
Yeah, that was the good old days. Like, you can literally tell the appraiser what you wanted your property to be.
I will neither confirm or deny what you said.
Well, it was basically legit back then, man. Now you can't even talk to the appraiser.
I don't know if it was ever legit, but I mean, you'd have informal discussions with appraisers. I know a lot of appraisers. And it makes you wonder sometimes when you get an appraisal and it happens to be a guy that you know. Mm-hmm. You're like, oh, I wonder if this is going to be a legit appraisal or if he's going to try to give me an extra favor, like, dude, just do it legit. I don't want to have to answer to anybody. I don't want to be looking over my shoulder for something that was done incorrectly, And see, now I'm a Reinvest Consultants. It's a real estate brokerage that I own. I'm not the broker here. I have another brokerage called Newcastle Real Estate. They're kind of focused in different areas. So Reinvest Consultants is primarily investment property, single family, small multi, that we manage. I think we're around 1,100 units or so.
You got 1,100 units now?
They're not mine.
No, okay.
No, they're just units that we manage for other people.
Right.
And like I had said early, a lot of people want to start off managing properties. That's how, like, it's an easy way to get in the game. Hey, I'll just take care of this apartment building for my next door neighbor that, he's got, let's say, a 20-unit building. I'll be his guy. I'll go mow his lawns. I'll collect his rents, blah, 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 blah. And people don't realize that there's a good chance if they're handling the money, they're breaking the law. Unless you're, the licensed broker is, all the money has to go through the licensed broker account. So
now, well, we won't, but there's ways to kind of handle that as well. Like, if you're not a broker, you don't work under a brokerage, you could take ownership of that property.
Or if you're a direct employee.
Or a direct employee, then you can manage it without a license.
Right. But a lot of people will, they want to scale up and do more and more. And, there's been a lot of people that we will try to cultivate and bring them on, and get them licensed so they're doing it the right way instead of doing it illegally.
Now, tell me about your first deal. What was your first deal?
It's probably a little house in Price Hill that I paid like $25,000 for.
Right.
Back in the days when the easy financing days where it was all stated income loans, 100% financing on investment
you state
property.
whatever you want, right?
Yeah, basically. I'm sure my numbers were legit at the time.
I'm sure of it.
They're completely legit. And that was one of those properties where it's like, once again, you over leveraged it. Me and Moeller did that property together. We also had another partner. That was the kind of more of the, he was the guy that was going to go in and actually do the fix up to it. And he had been in the business for a while. He was a street hustler basically. And at the end of the day, we ended up with property with no equity. He got all the money. And the funny thing about that is the funny thing to me is the guy basically swindled us. But he couldn't even read, right?
Wait a minute, you got swindled by somebody that couldn't even read?
Don't laugh at me. Yes. Yes, the guy could not read, and yet he got the better of us. So that was kind of one of like those humbling things that you have happen to you in your life, and you think you're the greatest, and then that happens. Well, I mean, it wasn't. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, now it's not a lot of money, but it was a lot then. And then after that, bought a couple properties where had people would carry a second so you can get in with no money down.
That's right.
And like I said, all of the properties that we bought early on, it took forever to get rid of those, to get to the point where the mortgage was paid down enough and the market had improved enough to where you could actually sell it and not have to come out of.
So what you're saying is we use that strategy where you over leverage, and it took you so long because your debt was higher than really the value.
We were upside down in them, yeah.
And so that what you're saying right now is the main reason why you always want to buy right the first time. Like that deal buying over leverage helped you get in, and you're supposed to be disciplined to take that money to reinvest, which I know you did, but still, if you keep doing it, you're not going to sell anything. So the main thing is always buy below market value. You got to leave yourself some room.
So after that, we started buying properties that needed a lot of fix up.
That's right.
And we had, I don't know, a dozen projects or so going on that were large scale rehabs. We had no money to work with. We just kept buying this stuff. And
wait a minute, you didn't have no budget?
We didn't have any money. We had no money. It was all dependent on the financing that was out there, and they were changing the terms around with what they could or would let you do. And so it ended up where it was like, all right, partner and I were like, at the time, we're like, nah, we're not seeing eye to eye on this anymore. You go your way, I'll go my way. And we kind of went back into the mortgage business a little bit, and then we're friends still, so we got together one day and we're like, I told him, I was like, hey man, I just got this book and you should check it out. I'm like halfway done with it. It's a book by Ron LeGrand. I don't know if you've read that book.
Yeah.
Quick Turn Real Estate. And I was like, this is what we should be doing. We should be doing this, and then maybe we could do the rehabs. And it was like both of us were like, yep, that's it. And you know, why we knew a lot of other people that were buying and flipping. It's like, I think everybody starting out wants to get into these deals. It's like, I finally put $100,000 into that. I could have this great place. It's like, well, you have no money, but that guy does. And why don't you just sell it to him and let him do the project? You can make a cut off of it, and you know, you don't go broke cashing those checks. You know.
So that was the beginning of your wholesaling career.
Yeah, and then like within a month, we were like wholesaling like 20 deals a month.
Nice.
Now, all those guys that we sold to all ended up going to jail for mortgage fraud. It's important to point that out.
I don't know.
Because of the.
Well, because we would sell them to them for cash.
Yeah.
And then, because I remember one house over on Sierra Park Place, Madisonville. You know where I'm at?
Yeah.
So we went over there. We got this property. I think we bought it for $7,000. We wholesaled it to this crew for what was it, like $13,000.
So 5,000 markup. Okay.
That'd be six.
Six. Okay.
Closing costs.
I can't
Maybe
do
it was
the
bigger
math.
closing costs.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. Thanks for saving me.
With closing costs, Mike is right. Yeah.
Yeah. So then, so like then there was a transfer for like $115,000 on that same property like 3 weeks later, and you're like, wow, man, these guys really must have, you know, got it done quick. That's impressive. And a few years later, the property goes through foreclosure, and I go back inside that property, and inside the house was the same broke down, like rat infested couch that was there when I bought it the first time.
Wow.
So everything after we bought it and sold it was all just fraud, and those people just, you know, cut up the money and went their separate ways. But they all went to jail.
Yeah. That's mortgage fraud. Definitely.
Yeah. So always do it morally, ethically,
And legally.
legally. There you go.
Yep.
There's too many ways to do it right. If you don't know how to do it, someone does, and just find out who those people are and get their mentorship. Get an attorney to guide you. You know, there's a lot of people out there. I mean, this group that you have here is a group that you can bounce ideas off of. There's no reason to do things illegally, because, you know, life is only so long. You don't want to spend a good chunk of that in jail.